Hey everybody, it's Chase with American Vintage Pop Culture again, and today I'm here to tell you why I believe that streaming is in its death rattle. It is dying, dead, almost gone, and why physical media has come back to life and is gonna rise from the grave in a big, big way. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so why do I think this? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Obviously, that's maybe a hot take, but I really don't think so. I mean, in the past few years, we have seen streaming services take hit after hit after hit. At the same time, we have seen the rise of these boutique agencies getting bigger and bigger. Scream Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, Kino Lorber, Criterion, on and on. Now you've got these great ones like Second Sight and Zavi and all, just more and more and more and more. And you can say, well, yeah, but Best Buy stopped carrying DVDs, but you know, now Walmart is expanding their physical media offerings, and Target still didn't do away with them. You can still go in Target. They maybe don't have as much, but you can still get everything pretty much online. But in the meantime, Walmart is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger with theirs. But all of that's kind of secondary to what's been happening recently. So over the last few months, I'm sure you heard that besides raising prices and cutting their offerings, streaming services have been trying to do everything they can to save themselves. That started when you had HBO Max combined with Discover Plus and, you know, involve all these other little smaller grabs into itself and rebrand itself as Max, which is stupid because HBO is the brand. But it rebranded itself as Max and has been trying to carry on, but it had to do things like cut its own programming because it couldn't afford to keep it, to try to make money, like Westworld and stuff. Well, now you have Disney Plus and Hulu who have had to combine because of the same type of problems. They cannot afford to keep going the way they are. They're just hemorrhaging money. They're losing subscribers. And so they combined, Hulu and Disney Plus, and then now Hulu and Disney Plus is combining with the newly rebranded Max to form one big thing, and they're going to try to bring ESPN possibly and sports in there to try to save themselves a little bit more. That may or may not work. That's going to be a lot of rights haggling. And then now, just a day or so ago, you have this new news breaking that Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock are going to combine into a bundle of some sort. There's not a huge amount of elaboration, but they are going to combine into a bundle of some sort. So essentially what they're doing, and all of these are going to offer higher prices. They're going to cut the offerings and do some other things with the offerings that we'll talk about in just a minute. But they're going to cut the offerings, and they're also going to put in commercials. And I'm like, congratulations, we're going full circle here, and you are recreating cable television. Old school cable television is exactly what you are doing. And it's pretty obvious, and it's going to implode on itself. Not just because people are like gonna be saying, hey, wait a minute, why am I paying for all this stuff and I've got to watch commercials? It's confusing. Now do I have Disney? Do I have Hulu? Do I have, like, what is all this? It's gonna be confusion, and it's gonna be at a higher price. Like the if they bring in sports, the Disney and HBO Max thing, they're looking at it being $50, $60 or so a month. And you could probably see this Netflix, Apple TV, Peacock easily being $30 a month. So, I mean, you're right up there. And then you have to have high-speed internet to use them. So that's not free. And you could have just had cable and internet. And then there is the other reason that people are starting to walk away from streaming, besides the prices, besides it being confusing, not knowing where to get their content. Now, recently, a lot of these, and this is what I'm about to say is not a political issue one way or the other. I don't care where you are, whatever. I'm an artist. I don't believe in artistic censorship. I don't like it. I don't like people controlling and telling me what I can and can't watch, what's good for me to watch. And now the streamers have gotten caught multiple times with the powers that be in charge deciding that something isn't appropriate anymore. And they're not just taking it off their service, which is bad enough because they are doing that. They're taking whole episodes of shows off their services. They are editing shows and movies. The going back and editing of movies, and now they're beginning to use AI to change dialogue and to actually change visuals. And use CGI to change visuals in movies, cutting whole scenes, changing whole scenes, using the voice recognition AI software to change dialogue from an actor, what they said. To me, I find that wholly unacceptable. That's not what the writer, director, or anybody intended at the time. Movies and TV shows are like music and paintings, and they're art. They're meant to reflect the time and the sensibilities and the way things were when they were made. They're time capsules. They're preservation for us for the future, to see where we are, where we were, where we've come from, how much we've changed, and to look back and remember things, not to look back and see a history that never was. Because if you start changing a lot of these things for today's sensibilities, well, what if the sensibilities change back in 10 years? What if they're in a whole other place? Are you going to change them again? Or people going to look back and you're going to say, oh, this is what this was. This show, this movie said these lines and did this scene. And no, it didn't. But unless you have physical media and you pass it down and you talk about it, you'll never know that. Now, I know there are some people that believe that, well, it's just a changing society. You know, they've changed their tune. They're just a changing society. Physical media is just a niche. Streaming's going to go away too because nobody watches TV anymore. Don't buy that at all. If streaming disappeared tomorrow, I mean, you've got hundreds of millions of streaming subscribers across the United States and the Americas and the world, just hundreds of millions of subscribers. If streaming ceased to exist tomorrow and the only place that you could watch your favorite show, your favorite movie, anything like that was to buy physical media, people would buy physical media again, plain and simple. They're not just going to say, oh, that's too much work, I'm just going to scroll my phone. Even if 70% of the people did that and 30% of people went back to buying physical media would be back in its heyday at the height of its powers, so to speak. So and if 50% or 60% went back to buying physical media, it would be way up and above and beyond what it was. So I don't buy that at all. Maybe I'm just old and I've seen things change. When I started making films, 17 years ago, I had distributors that I worked with then, small, big, whatever. When you would ask about physical media, they would say, even then, oh, it's dead, it's dying. It'll be gone in 3 years. And then they'd put your movie out and it would sell through on DVD or Blu-ray, or DVD before even Blu-ray. And it would make a lot of its money on physical media. And then you would make another movie and they would say, oh, no physical. We don't want to do physical because physical is going to be gone in 3 years. And then 3 years later, it wouldn't be gone. And then the same thing, and it would just change and change and change. So yes, I do believe things are changing for sure. But is physical media going to go away? No, it's seeing a rise again. I mean, even if you want to say that physical media is a niche market, well, that's like saying Whole Foods should close down because Kroger and Publix exist. I mean, as long as there is, even right now, 30 or 50 billion dollars, something like that, to be made in physical media. I don't care if it's 5 billion. I don't care if it's 1 billion. If there is a market like that, there is going to be people making things to fill that need, that void in that market. That's just how it is. And I think it's going to continue to grow, and people, there's somewhat of a swing back. People are starting to want more of what's called a bespoke experience. They're wanting to have something that is quality for their money. They don't want to just go to the chain restaurants. They don't want to just buy a belt from, I don't know, Walmart or JCPenney, wherever. They want to find a artisan who makes leather belts and buy it. They want to go to a craft beer place. They want to go to, like one-off restaurants that aren't chains. People are kind of wanting to spend their money on something that's more tangible, that's more of an experience. And that's when these boutique labels, in my opinion, and that's where physical media comes back in and starts to fill that and starts to get popular again. It's the same way vinyl LPs this past year outselling every other kind of physical music media, and saw a $149 million increase in sales for records. For old records, old school records. So now when an artist drops something, they put it on a record too. It's not just digital because it doesn't have the same quality. It's generic. It's mass produced. It doesn't have the same soul to it. And that's where the 4K boutiques come in. The 4K and the restorations and the Blu-ray restorations of these movies. And then you get these great artwork, cover slips, and these prestige and premium sets, and then you get the 4K scan itself. So now you've got a top-notch quality that people haven't seen at home before. You got top-notch music or sound quality that people haven't seen before. You combine it with this new artwork that makes it something to look at, something that's of a higher quality that you can see and show and hold. You're never going to get that with streaming. And then you add even more value by going back and creating these special features that you can't get streaming or digitally. And then you combine that with the fact that if I buy it here once, I own it. And as long as I take care of it, I'm going to have it. The whole, the DVDs can deteriorate, blah, blah, blah. There's gas, there's oil. Bullshit. Bullshit. If you take care of, if you don't leave it above your washing machine, if you don't leave it in a place that's humid or extremely hot or extremely, extremely cold, it's going to be fine. They said the same thing about VHS when I was a kid, and then later when they wanted to get rid of it. I have VHSs. I am 44 years old. I have VHSs that are as old as me, and they play just fine. I mean, so, as long as you take care of it, you're going to have it. Everything else is an excuse when it comes to that, because in the end, the studios and things, they want to sell you something, right? That's how they make money. They want to sell you something. But what they prefer not to do is sell you a physical media. And you want to say, well, why not? Well, simply, it costs them upfront money, and it costs them upfront time. And then maybe biggest of all, you never need them again to see that program once you buy it. So understand, if everything they offer you is digital, They can upload it to their streaming service. They can sell you the rentals. They can sell you the downloads. All it costs them is digital artwork and space on their servers. They do not have to press DVDs. They do not have to get that same artwork put on a container. They do not have to do 4K scan. All these kind of things they don't have to do. So it increases their profit margin on the front end to deliver it to you like that. But what the problem then becomes is now you have to pay them forever to watch it. You can't just watch it anytime you want to. You say, oh yeah, I can. I've got streaming. I can watch it anytime I want. No, you can't, because they can take it off of their streaming services at any time, right? Anytime they can take it off of there, and then you can't watch it anymore. And if you don't have a physical copy and they take it off of streaming services and you can't buy it digitally, which you don't own actually anyway, then you just can't see that movie. They control 100% what you watch, the studios. There is no big they. It's the studio heads and the people who are making these decisions. It's not some covert, thing. The they is real. And yes, in those regards, when it comes to owning personal property, there is a bit of the attitude of you'll own nothing and like it, because they want you to keep paying them for the right to watch it. Even the people who buy things on digital, it is not guaranteed to be yours forever. If you buy on Amazon Prime and you stop having Amazon Prime, you don't have the movie. Or particularly like if you have like Xfinity, Comcast, or whatever your server provider is, you buy something digitally through them and download it. If you change providers, you don't have it anymore. It's like Ultraviolet. When it went under, people lost tons of money and tons of movies. That can happen at any time. There's no guarantee that you're going to have that forever digitally. But if I buy this DVD right here, if I buy Killer Clowns on Steelbook, as long as I take care of it, I'm going to have Killer Clowns to watch whenever I want to. And then I'm going to have all the special features, and I can hear what the actors thought about it. And a lot of times the directors, writers, the filmmakers, whomever, I can understand what they thought about it. And it just adds to that value. And it's about something for your money. It is value, like proposition there. And I know some people have, no, it's just because we're collectors, we're in this, so we don't pay any attention. People still say people don't even realize 4K exists. They say DVD. I say DVD. I'm old. That's what it is. You're used to saying DVD. I will still say I'm going to tape something. I know I'm not taping it. I can assemble a computer myself on a computer build. I edit entire movies. I know what it's called. It's just a figure of speech. I say I'm going to tape it. So when people say, oh, you got the DVD, they don't necessarily know there's nothing that exists past DVD. It's just a figure of speech that's kind of a catch-all. So yes, I believe that you're seeing streaming, and then combine that with the fact that the studio heads would rather, it seems like at this point, sink the whole model and their company lose tons of money than to be proven wrong that the streaming isn't going to work. That just boggles my mind right there. You continue to hemorrhage money. You continue to axe shows. You're canceling your own stuff. But you still won't just say, hey, maybe we were wrong and we can go back to this model, because we're already circling back around to cable. That's pretty much what's coming back. Eventually you're going to see streaming. It will probably exist in some form or another, but you're going to see a rise again of kind of like cable, because it's just going to make sense to people. They're gonna be like, I'm not paying $80 for this block of streaming and another $80 for this block of streaming, and I still don't have like local channels. I can't see the news. I can't see all these other things, History Channel and stuff like that, because people don't just watch movies or social media. That's not how this works. People watch a lot of different things. So And then you're going to throw commercials in it, and they're going to be like, why the hell am I paying you all this money and I got to watch commercials and I can't watch my other stuff? They're going to, you know, with their powers combined, it's like that meme, I am Captain Planet. No, with your powers combined, you have brought back cable. That's what's happening. But it'll probably exist in that way in some form or another. But as that continues to go down the road of increased costs, limited options, getting rid of content, not offering extras like extra features, beautiful cover art, not offering the same tangible value for your money, you're going to continue to see physical media increase and just, you know, like the zombie's hand coming out of the ground. It's going to raise back and come back to life. And I mean, a lot of things are cyclical. I mean, if you want to argue it, then explain to me vinyl records. You could say, oh, well, the sound quality. People have realized the sound quality is back. People have realized, yes, the sound quality is back. There's more soul in that music. There's more of a quality to that music on a vinyl LP. You have the beautiful cover art on those. All of that stuff. Well, guess what? People will realize, look at this beautiful 4K. Look at the quality of that picture and sound. Look at the extras that I'm getting with all this behind the scenes. I can see more. I can see scenes and footage and cuts and edits of a movie that never existed before. Then look at this beautiful art, this display piece, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that beats digital, especially when it's the same price or less, and you keep cutting my options and you keep changing what I can watch, and then you keep editing what I know I saw before. So I believe that these things, these mergers and restructures and combining of these big platforms into one, that's the beginning. That's a couple steps down the death rattle for streaming as we know it. And it's going to continue that way, while at the same time we have Walmart redoubling into special editions of physical media, expanding their physical media, the expansion of all of these boutique labels, all of this kind of stuff, and it's kind of going the other way. And I think that's going to continue. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm old enough to, you know, I know people, I've been collecting, you know, a lot of people in here know their shit that talk on this stuff, and they've been collecting a long time. I've been collecting a long time too. And I've worked in the business, and I've dealt with actually selling movies and arguing to get movies made on physical media with some of these people. Now, not like, you know, huge studio heads, but it's no different. Their problems are the same problems. I kind of use the euphemism, or the example of, think of the studio heads as a drug dealer. All right, the old joke, like we grew up in the 80s, just say no, drug dealers will give you the first one, and then to try to get you to keep coming back, right? Because they want to create a druggie in you, a customer for life. Well, if a studio sells you physical media, that is an end customer for that piece of physical media, unless then they can hit collectors later if they bring out new versions or whatever. But it's hey, you can buy this drug from me, but I can only sell it to you this one time, and that's it. Whereas digital and streaming is, you buy this drug from me, and then you have to keep coming and seeing me constantly and paying me to get more drugs. And I can cut this drug off from you at any time. I can charge more for this drug at any time. I can change this drug at any time, and there's nothing you can do about it. So think about them as the drug dealer in this case. And I'm not like trying to be mean. I'm just trying to use an example. They're not like evil people all over the place or something. But what would be of course, their incentive, their bias is to fight digital media, or is to fight, not digital media. Their bias is to fight against physical media and make you buy digital media. And so, of course, these are the same people telling you physical media is going away because it is in their best interest to tell you physical media is going away and that streaming is the greatest thing. They're like, don't believe your eyes. Don't believe what you're seeing. Believe what we're telling you because it's happening. I'm here to tell you they've been telling you that for a couple of decades now because it is in their interest to tell you that. But all you have to do is look and see what's happening with streaming to know it's not true. And then you look at the physical media on the other side going the other way, and you have even more confirmation that collecting physical media and that the rebirth of physical media is happening right now. It definitely is. And you can kind of argue against it, and maybe shit all goes upside down eventually, but to say oh, it's dying, that's bull. And to say, oh, well, people just don't watch movies anymore, bullshit. That people don't watch shitty movies anymore, that's what it is. People watch movies, they don't watch shitty movies. And if you give people a good product, they will come out and watch it. And here's the other thing. Growing up, this is how they've helped convince you that with box office totals and things like that, that movies and stuff are dying. Well, first of all, they're not producing very much original or good content for you to go out and see. But second of all, they've killed their own model. All right. When movies came out, let's just start when you had VHS, when it was popular, and DVD when it was popular, before we even get the Blu-ray. Let's go back to then when video stores were popular. How did they make their money? They basically had 2 releases on every film, and this is what they did. They promoted they made a good movie. There's a reason they're trying to remake 80s and 70s stuff all the time. They made a good movie, and then they promoted the hell out of the movie, because there wasn't social media, so they actually had to put effort into it. So they promoted the movie. And then 3, when they released the movie would be at the theater for months. For months, not a couple of weeks, pull the ripcord, put it on video, on digital. No, it would be at the movies for months. And if you wanted to see it, you had to take your ass to the movies to see it. And then when it finished its theatrical run, they would wait 6, 8 months, sometimes longer. And then they would do the DVD release, right? Or VHS or DVD release. But that's not where it stopped. They did the DVD release for sale. And then it had a 30 to 90 day window, depending on the release, before it could go to the movie rental place. So you've waited 6 or 8 months since it was at the theater. Now you're all hyped up to get it. So you got to go buy it because you cannot rent it yet. There's no way to rent it yet. It did not hit the video rental stores at the same time it went out for sale. So now you've got a month to another 3 months of buying window. All right. So if you wanted to see it again, you had to go buy it then. Otherwise, you had to wait a month to 3 months. Then it would come to the video rental place. So then they would have this other sale through. So they created these different release points to keep generating that money. When they're going to pull a ripcord on like Fall Guy in 2 weeks and put it on video on demand, digital, what is your incentive to go see it at the movie? What is your incentive to buy it? You can just rent it on there for 25 bucks or 20 bucks and the whole family can watch it. There's no incentive. They're killing themselves in an effort to prove to you that physical media is dying so they don't have to go back to it and and in the meantime try to prop up streaming. Now, if I'm lying, I'm dying. It's common sense. Like, some of it is common sense. We can argue and talk about it back and forth, and I love discussing. Man, people can tell me I'm wrong as hell and I'm stupid. That is okay for you to think that. I'm just telling you, as someone who's seen it change, as someone who has been a collector and been on the other side of it as a filmmaker, dealing with these studios and trying to actually, sitting in meetings and hearing them explain to you why they don't want to put it on physical media. They don't want to put it on there because it's not good for them. It's against their bottom line. But at the same, it's because of this thinking, this current thinking. But just like cable is probably going to circle back around, this is going to circle back around there and be like, you know what? That model made us the most money for a reason, because it worked. We put the movie out there. You had several months to see it at the theater. If you didn't see it at the theater, you were going to wait 6, 8 months or longer. Then you had a month to 3 month window to buy it if you wanted to see it. Otherwise, you had to wait, and then you could rent it. And I don't know why they don't do that, or some combination of that, even if you wanted to keep digital. Like, don't make it where people can say, oh, hell, I don't have to go to the movies and see it. I can just rent it here. My whole family can watch it in a week or two. They'll pull it out of the movies. We'll pay $25. We'll all watch it. I have no need to buy it. Like, that's stupid. You're literally killing yourself to avoid a little bit of money up front and to avoid being proven wrong. That's a problem for a lot of us. It's hard to admit when you're wrong. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but that is my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, let's talk it over, because I love it. I'm here to stay. You're going to be seeing a whole lot more of me, and hopefully I can bring some other perspective from the filmmaking side and the older guy collector side who still works in this business. And yeah, let's chat it up. So like, subscribe, join the pop culture family. I love you guys. I appreciate everything. I love being here. I love being part of this community. This is my tribe, and it always has been. And until next time, this is Chase with AVA Pop Culture saying have a great AVA day. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Be kind, rewind, baby. I know.